My eyes are my most important thing that I have because my ears don't work. They work, but they don't function normally. I'm Marinda Roos, and I'm a person living with a disability, in particular, invisible disability. The easiest way to explain it is you can't see it with your eyes. Invisible disabilities is a lot of different disabilities. It's not just hearing loss, deafness, blindness. There's a lot, even mental disabilities that is classified under invisible disabilities. About 17 years ago, I was married to somebody in the Northern Cape, and he kept on telling me I must turn the radio soft, I must turn the volume down on the TV, and it became a thing that I'm making everybody deaf. So one day I decided I've had enough of this, so I went to the audiologist. Then they found out that I've got bilateral hearing loss. My right ear is almost totally deaf. At that stage, I think it was 36% hearing in my left ear. The history of it is I was born like that. I didn't realize I can't hear. You must listen. Even in classroom, I functioned in a normal hearing society, but I had struggles doing that. The whole time blaming myself that I don't listen. I don't listen well enough. I don't listen good enough. So if the teacher is giving the class and he looks at us, I follow 100%. But if he turns around to write on the board or something, I can't follow. And then it's like, what is he saying? What is he saying? And then my friends are like, Roos, you better listen. Why aren't you listening? But we never realized I can't hear. As I grew up, I realized that I can hear with this ear. And then I started reading lips. So it was so part of my life. For me, it was normal to do it. If somebody turns around and they speak to me, I can't follow them. They speak behind my back, I can't hear them. It's difficult all over. The public view of invisible disability. In the first place, people don't believe you if you say I've got an invisible disability. But relationship-wise, it's difficult if you're in a marriage with somebody that doesn't understand, or don't want to understand, or don't even listen. So at the end of the day, it becomes a huge problem. And everyday life as well, even in your family. If you're in a family that doesn't acknowledge your disability, it makes you withdraw from people because people don't understand you and people don't listen. In the workplace, I've tried explaining to people. I wear this nameplate to make people aware that if you speak to me and I don't react, it's not because I'm being nasty or whatever. It's because I've got a problem. People don't understand. They treat you bad. You hear a lot of nasty things sometimes. What people don't see, they don't believe. Are you really telling the truth? Is there really something wrong with you? I'm a person with an invisible disability, and I've lived with this all my life. I don't need your judgment. I wear 2 hearing aids that connect via Bluetooth. That's the only way for me to talk over a cell phone. Keep the phone to my ear, I can't hear anything. Nothing. So if somebody phones me, they speak directly into your ears so that I can follow. Landline, if the receiver on the handpiece is on the right place, I can hear, but I have to close my right ear and concentrate, or I lose you in any case. The misconception about hearing impairment is that people think the moment you have hearing aids, now you can hear, and it's not the case. A hearing aid only amplifies the sounds and the letters that you can hear. There's nothing in the world that can make you hear. If somebody speaks in English, remember Afrikaans is my first language, and they speak fast, in a sentence sometimes, I maybe get 2 or 3 words, if I'm lucky. And in that word, there's letters that I can't hear. So now your brain has to try and figure out what does this person say to you now. So sometimes it takes a while before you react because your brain is busy sorting out all these things. Okay. And it happens sometimes that I hear something totally different. My previous director, he understood my disability. So one day I was sitting in the office and he came in and he had a paper in his hand and he put it down. He asked me, "Can you make me coffee?" But I heard, "Can you make me a copy?" So I took the paper and I ran to the other floor, made a copy, came back, and I put it in front of him. And he looks at me and he said, "Marinda," and he starts laughing. So now I know something is wrong. I said, "Yes, sir." "What did you say?" He said, "I wanted coffee." You see, I struggle to hear the difference. But because my brain is used to, I'm looking at the paper, he's putting down the paper. So my mind says, he wants a copy of this paper. But that's not what he asked me. So now I'm sorry. So I'm really sorry. He said, no problem. Do you still have time to make coffee? So you see, sometimes you will get that word right, but you actually guessed it. It's not to say you heard it. Even in my own language, in Afrikaans, there's some letters, if it's like double case or something. I struggle to hear it. When it was COVID, there was posters all over telling people, wash your hands, do this, do that. Why isn't there any visible communication somewhere that shows this is invisible disabilities? Ears, it's eyes, it's mental, it's this, it's that. Because how are we going to learn from each other if we don't start somewhere? Because the culture is, if I don't see it, it's not there. And like Disability Month, I don't have a disability only 1 month in a year. I live with it every day of my life. It's my life. If there's a couple of us standing here, for instance, someone in a wheelchair, someone with a different physical disabilities, but in between, there's people that look normal. And people will start asking questions, but what is wrong with this person? Why, or this one? Why are they there? Then you can explain. But this one has actually got a visual impairment. You can only see 26 centimeters. This one is totally deaf. This one is hearing impaired. And please don't understand me wrong. I'm not taking away anything from any other disability. We are all inclusive under this umbrella. I'm just talking about invisible disabilities because we can't see them. All that I mean. We need to show people how it looks like when you've got a problem, but your eyes can't see it. I live with it, but you don't know it. If you read and you go to Google, you will see there's even people with disabilities that commit suicide because they've got nobody to speak to, and it feels like nobody understands. And if there was only one person that took the time to speak to them, it would have been different. With my disability, background noise takes over everything. So that's why usually where there's large gatherings, you won't find me there. Everything is blacked out by the background noise, if you understand what I mean. And it's not that you hear people speaking. It's like a buzz sound. So it makes it difficult for conversations. But my supervisor understands me. So he knows if he's speaking to me and I don't react, he knows I didn't hear him. Then he will make me aware of him. That's the one thing. The other thing is, if I'm busy working on the system and I'm really concentrating, you can stand here at my table and you can greet me, you can speak. I won't hear one word. We were walking in the street once and we were crossing the street, not at the robot. Me and 3 other colleagues. And as we were going over the street, there was a car coming speeding down. But remember, this is my almost deaf side. So I didn't hear that car. I'm just looking here. We were going to the shops. And she grabbed me. And she pulled me back. And I landed between the 2 cars. That gave me a hell of a fright. Because if she wasn't there, and it was just me, I wouldn't have been here. So now I make a point of not crossing any street anywhere if there's not a robot. And even if I'm crossing it, I make sure there's people on my right hand side. So I can see, okay, something is happening here. And I always check the traffic to make sure they don't just go over you.